The man unexpectedly crossed into the game world. The NPCs that were originally very rigid in the game, now they have all become living people. Not only that, the protagonist also found that the NPC servants who had followed him, now they are all big shots who are famous in one side. But at present, the protagonist can't contact them, so he plans to explore this world first. Since the protagonist saved the little white fox of the shrine, he signed a master-servant contract with her. He even named the little fox Yuzuha. In this way, people whose strength does not exceed the protagonist cannot see through the race of the divine pet. Element tale. After returning to the town, the protagonist went to the guild to report for the first time. After all, the appearance of a large number of undead in the northern forest is really abnormal, and the protagonist is also very popular. The twin sisters at the front desk almost quarreled in order to receive the protagonist. After the report was over, the protagonist is ready to take the next commission. At this time, he found a strange task in the taskbar. The content is to find someone with skills. The client is the orphanage of the church. Thinking of the information about the little fox, it was Millie who told him, and she is an orphan from the orphanage, so he took the task without hesitation. When he arrived at the church orphanage, the church nun was a bit wary of him. Not until the protagonist saw Millie again did the nun finally let go of her vigilance. At the same time, the nun explained the commission. It turns out that they hope to get the skill Purify. Not everyone in this world has skills, so hanging a commission is just a try. As for whether they can really find someone with Purify, the nun actually didn't have much hope, but she never thought. The protagonist sitting in front of her just has the skill, and he also knows the conditions for acquiring this skill. At this time, the protagonist did not ask for monetary rewards. He expressed his hope to know the ability Millie has, and the reason they want to get Purify. It turns out that Millie's ability is very sensitive. She has the title of Oracle. Simply put, she can foresee the future. The matter of the little white fox also suddenly appeared in the prediction. Such ability, if it falls into the hands of bad people, will definitely cause a very terrible event. Fortunately, the adventurers who grew up from the orphanage will help protect here, and the reason for learning Purify by commission is because the orphanage is about to close. Because the church lacks a gifted priest, can only be inherited by other priests, but the bad thing is, the new male priest is a money-grubbing person. For facilities like the orphanage that cannot make a profit, he expressed his intention to abolish it as soon as possible. Therefore, the children of the orphanage hate him very much. 2.5 minutes later, the nun brought a young girl to meet the protagonist, and her identity is the person who learns skills in the commission. At this time, Wilhelm, who had met the protagonist in the restaurant before, appeared. It turns out that he grew up from this orphanage. He is also the person who the old nun said protects the orphanage. Knowing that Millie trusts the protagonist, he also expressed that he can assist. Then the protagonist officially stated the conditions for learning Purify. That is, under the state named Holy Bangle of Prayer, Rashia needs to personally defeat more than 200 undead monsters above level 150. This directly stunned several people on the scene. After all, in their view, the protagonist just said something very incredible as if it were nothing. His performance also made Wilhelm think of something, so he found the protagonist that night. After sitting down in the tavern, Wilhelm bluntly asked the protagonist if he was the chosen one, but unexpectedly, the protagonist didn't know what this was. Upon hearing this, Wilhelm understood that he had misunderstood. Then he began to explain the meaning of chosen one. That is a group of people who are born with skills and titles, and from the moment they were born, they have extremely profound knowledge. Seeing that the protagonist knows a lot of things, so Wilhelm mistakenly thought that the protagonist was also such an existence. The next day, the three of them came to Spirit Plains together. This place is filled with high-level undead monsters. The protagonist gave the Holy Bangle of Prayer to Rashia. Then they started leveling up. He first used his skills to cripple the monsters, then let Rashia finish them off. Wilhelm, as a member of the orphanage, also came to help this time. After clearing the outer monsters of Spirit Plains, the group came to the depths of the forest. The blue barrier ahead is a seal imposed by the guild. Inside are even higher-level undead monsters. Sure enough, as soon as a few people entered the barrier, several monsters nearby targeted them. After the protagonist clearly saw the direction of the monsters, he proposed that he and Wilhelm each take care of the monsters on one side. Yuzuha stayed in place to protect Rashia. In this way, they started grinding monsters continuously. Rashia's level also rose at an exaggerated speed. On the other side of Spirit Plains, the princess of the kingdom is dealing with Skullface Jack. The big sword in her hand is the one that the protagonist knocked away.
あの日私の部屋に突き刺さったこれがなければ厳しい戦いだった。
回り込め！コアを狙うんだ！攻撃が重すぎる！体力が残ってるやつは手伝え！なんなんだこいつは！